Hello, Shalom. Welcome to day 45 of the Daily Bread. We'll be reading in Exodus chapter 6, 1 Samuel chapter 6, Psalms 52, Proverbs 14, Mark 14. We'll be in the Scriptures 2009. Exodus chapter 6 on page 62. And Yahweh said to Mosheh, "Now see what I do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand he is going to let them go, and with a strong hand he is going to drive them out of his land." This is in response to when Mosheh goes the first time to Pharaoh and says, "Hey, we want to go to a festival." And Pharaoh's like, "No, you guys got too much time in your hands. You got things to do." And then he makes their work harder for them. Mosheh goes to Yahweh and says, "Hey, whatever. This is more work. This is more harder." And so he responds there. So this is how he responds to him. And Yahweh said to Mosheh, "Now see what I do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand he is going to let them go, and with a strong hand he is going to drive them out of his land." Because remember back in Genesis, Joseph bought all the land for Pharaoh during the scarcity of food. So, verse 2. And Elohim spoke to Mosheh and said to him, "I am Yahweh, and I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as El Shaddai, and by my name Yahweh I am not known to them," meaning the Mizrahites. "And I also established my covenant with them," with the Hebrews, "my covenant with them, to give them the land of the Canaan, the land of their sojourning in which they have sojourned. And I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Mizrahites are enslaving. And I remembered my covenant. Say therefore to the children of Israel, I am Yahweh, and I shall bring you out from under the burdens of the Mizrahites, and I shall deliver you from their enslaving, and shall redeem you, and with an outstretched arm and with great judgments, and shall take you as my people, and I shall be your Elohim, and you shall know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who is bringing you out from under the burdens of the Mizrahites. And I shall bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give it to you as an inheritance. I am Yahweh." And Mosheh spoke thus to the children of Israel, but they did not listen to Mosheh because of shortness of spirit and from hard slavery. And Yahweh spoke to Mosheh, saying, "Go and speak to Pharaoh, sovereign of Misraim, and let the children of Israel go out of his land." And Mosheh spoke before Yahweh, saying, "The children of Israel have not listened to me, and why would the Pharaoh listen to me? For I am an uncircumcised lips." And Yahweh spoke to Mosheh and to Aaron, and gave them a command for the children of Israel and for Pharaoh, sovereign of Misraim, to bring the children of Israel out of the land of Misraim. There are the heads of their fathers. These are the heads of their fathers' houses. The sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, Hanak, and Palo, Hezron, and Kamari. And these are the clans of Reuben. And the sons of Shimon, Yamol, and Yamin, and Oad, and Yakin, and Sohar, and Shaul, the son of a Canaanite woman. These are the sons of Shimon. These are the names of the sons of Levi, according to their generations, Gershon, Kirath, Merai. And the years of the life of Levi were 137. And the sons of Gershon, Liban and Shimei, according to their clans. And the sons of Chueth, Aram, and Yishar, and Hebron, and Israel. And the years of the life of Kehath, 133. And the sons of Merari, Mali, and Mushi. And these were the clans of Levi according to their generations. And Aram took for himself Jochebed, his father's sister, as wife. And she bore him Aaron and Mosheh. And the years of the life of Amram were 137. And the sons of Yishkar, Karal, Suron, and Nepheg, and Zikri. And the sons of Uzziel, or Mashal, and Eslam, and Saradi. Aaron took to himself Elizabeth, daughter of Amalin, sister of Ashdon, as wife, and she bore him Nahab, and Ablu, Elazar, and Ishmael. And the sons of Koran, Asir, Elikon, and Azbin. These are the clans of the Kerites. And Elazar, Aaron's son, took for himself one of the daughters of Pulite as wife, and she bore him Pananis. These are the heads of the fathers of the Levites, according to their clans. This is Aaron and Mosheh, to whom Yahweh said, "Bring out the children of Israel out of the land of Mizraim, according to their divisions." They were the ones who spoke to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, to bring out the children of Israel from Mizraim. This is Mosheh and Aaron. And it came to be on the day when Yahweh spoke to Mosheh in the land of Mizraim, that Yahweh spoke to Mosheh, saying, "I am Yahweh. Speak to Pharaoh, sovereign of Mizraim, all that I say to you." And Mosheh said before Yahweh, "See, I am an uncircumcised lips, and why would Pharaoh listen to me?" End of chapter 6 of Exodus. Moving on to 1 Samuel chapter 6 on page 285. Remember, the ark was captured. The Philistines have it, and it's causing all kinds of problems with it. And we don't want this thing. Okay, chapter 6. And the ark of Yahweh was in the field of the Philistines for 7 new moons. And the Philistines called for the priests and the diviners, saying, "What do we do with the ark of Yahweh? Let us know what we should send it to its place." Man, that was hard. And they said, "If you send away the ark of the covenant of Israel, do not send it empty, but you shall certainly return it to him with a guilt offering. Then you are going to be healed, and it shall be known to you by his hand does not turn aside from you." Why his hand does not turn aside from you. And they said, "What is the guilt offering which we return to him?" And they answered, "The number of the princes of the Philistines, 5 golden tumors and 5 golden rats. For the same plague was on all of you and on all you princes. And you shall make images of your tumors and images of your rats that ruin the land. And you shall give esteem to the Elohim of Israel. It could be that he does lift his hand from you, from your mighty ones, and from your land. And why do you harden your hearts as the Mithrites and Pharaoh hardened their hearts? when he had severely dealt with them? Did they not send them away, and they went? And now take and make a new wagon, and 2 milk cows which have never been yoked, and hitch the cows to the wagon, and take their calves home away from them, and take the ark of Yahweh and put it on the wagon, and put the objects of gold which you are returning to him as a guilt offering in the chest by its side, and send it away, and it shall go, and you shall see if it goes up the way to its border, to Bethshem. Then he has done us this great evil. But if not, then we shall know that his hand has not come up against us. An accident it was to us. And the 2 men did so, and took 2 milk cows, and hitched them to the wagon, and shut up their calves at home. And they put the ark of Yahweh on the wagon, and the chest with the gold rats, and the images of their tumors. And the cows went straight away to Bethsheba, and went along the highway, bellowing as they did, and did not turn aside right or left. And the princes of the Philistines went after them to the border of Shema. And they of Bethsheba was reaping their wheat harvest in the valley. And they lifted up their eyes and saw the ark, and rejoiced to see it. And the wagon came into the field of Joshua of Bethsheba, and stood there. And there was a great stone. So they split the wood of the wagon, and offered the cows as an ascending offering to Yahweh. And the Levites took down the ark of Yahweh, and the chest that was with it, in which were objects of gold, and put them on the great stone. And the men of Bethsheba offered ascending offering and slaughtering offering the same day to Yahweh. And when the 5 princes of Philistines saw it, they returned to Ekron the same day. And these were the gold tumors which the Philistines returned as a guilt offering to Yahweh, as one for Ashdod, one for Azur, one for Ashkelon, one for Gath, and one for Ekron. And the gold rats by the number of the cities of the Philistines belonging to the 5 princes, both walled cities and country villages, even as far as the great meadow on which they placed the ark of Yahweh, remain this day in the field of Yeshua of Bethshem. And he struck among the men of Bethshem, for they had looked into the ark of Yahweh, and struck among the people 70 men. And the people mourned, because Yahweh struck among the people a great smiting. And the men of Bathsheba said, Who is able to stand before this set apart Yahweh Elohim? And to whom shall he go from us? And they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Urim, saying, The Philistines have brought back the ark of Yahweh. Come down, take it up to you. Psalms 52 on page 675. Why do you boast in evil, O mighty man, the loving commitment of El, in all day long? Your tongue devises destruction, like a sharp razor, working deceit. You loved evil more than good, lying more than speaking righteousness. Salah. You loved all devouring words, O tongue of deceit. Let El also break you down forever, take you and pluck you out of your tent, and he shall uproot you from the land of the living. Salah. And let the righteous see and fear, and laugh at him, saying, See the man who did not make Elohim his strength, but trust in his many riches, being strong in his destruction. But I am like a green olive tree in the house of Elohim. I have trusted in the loving commitment of Elohim forever and ever. I thank you forever, because you have done it, and in the presence of your loving committed ones. I wait on your name, for it is good. End of Psalms 52. Proverbs 14 on page 741. Every wise woman has built her house, but the foolish breaks it down with her hands. He who walks in his straightness fears Yahweh, but he whose ways are crooked despise him. In the mouth of a fool is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise guard them. Where there are no oxen, the crib is clean, but from the strength of an ox comes much increase. A trustworthy witness does not lie, but a false witness breathes out lies. A scoffer shall seek wisdom, but find none, but knowledge is swift to him who has understanding. Leave the presence of a foolish man, for you shall not perceive the lips of knowledge. The wisdom of the clever is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools scoff at guilt, but among the straight there is delight. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger shares its joy. The house of the wrong is destroyed, but the tent of the straight flourishes. There is a way which seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Even in laughter the heart is in pain, and the end of that joy is heaviness. The backslider in heart is satisfied with his own ways, but a good man is satisfied from his. The simple believes every word, but the clever one watches his step. The wise fears and turns away from evil, but a fool rushes on and is reckless. He who is impatient acts foolishly, and a man who plans wickedness is hated. The simple shall inherit folly, but the clever are crowned with knowledge. The evil one shall bow before the good, and the wrong ones at the gate of the righteous. Let me read that again, verse 19. The evil one shall bow before the good, and the wrong ones at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated even by his own neighbor, but the rich has many friends. He who despises his neighbor sins, but he who shows favor to the poor, oh, blessed is he. Do not those who plan evil go astray, but loving commitment and truth are to all who plan good. In all labor there is profit, but talk of the lips leads only to poverty. The crown of the wise is their wealth. The folly of fools is folly. A true witness saves lives, but he who breathes out lies is a betrayer. In the fear of Yahweh is strong trust, and his children have a place of refuge. The fear of Yahweh is a fountain of life, to turn away from the snares of death. In a multitude of people is a sovereign splendor, but in the lack of people is the ruin of a prince. He who is patient has great understanding, but he who is short of spirit exalts folly. A healthy heart is life to the body, but envy is rottenness to the bones. He who oppresses the poor reproaches his maker, but he who esteems him shows favor to the needy. By his own evil doing the wrong is thrust down, but the righteous has a refuge in his death. Wisdom rests in the heart of him who has understanding, and even among fools it becomes known. Righteousness exalts a nation, and loving commitment to the people is sin. Repeat me. Verse 34. Righteousness exalts a nation, and loving commitment to the people is sin. The sovereign's delight is toward a servant, but his wrath is toward him who causes shame. Under Mark chapter 14 on page 975. Now the Pesach and the festival of Matzah was after 2 days, and the chief priests and the scribes were seeking how to take him through treachery and put him to death. And they said, not at the festival, lest there be an uproar of the people. And while he, Yeshua, was in Beth-An in the house of Simon the leper, and sitting at the table, a woman came, having an alabaster flask of perfume, genuine nard, very costly, and breaking the flask, she poured it on his head. But there were some who were much displeased among themselves, and said, why was this perfume wasted? For it could have been sold for more than 300 denarii and given to the poor. And they were scolding her. 300 denarii was obviously a lot of money then. Now it's like several $1,000s in today's money. So, and they were scolding. But Yeshua said, leave her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has done a good work for me. For you have the poor with you always, and you are able to do good to them whenever you wish, but you do not always have me. What she had, she used, and took it beforehand to anoint my body for the burial. Truly I say to you, wherever this good news is proclaimed in all the world, that what this woman did shall be spoken to her remembrance. And Judas of Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priests to deliver him up. And when they heard it, they were glad and promised to give him silver. And he was seeking how to deliver him up conveniently. And on the first day of unleavened bread, when they were slaughtering the Pesach lamb, his taught one said to him, where do you wish to go and prepare for you to eat the Pesach? And he sent out 2 of his taught ones, and said to them, go into the city, and there is a man bearing a jar of water shall meet you. Follow him. And wherever he enters, say to the master of the house, the teacher says, where is the guest room in which I am to eat the Pesach with my taught ones? And he shall show you a large upper room, furnished, ready, prepared for us there. And his taught ones went out and came into the city, and found it. He said to them, and they prepared for the Pesach. The evening was having come. He came with the 12. And as they sat and ate, Yeshua said, truly I say to you, one of you who is eating with me shall deliver me up. And they began to be grieved, and to say to him, by one, is it I? And another, is it I? And he answering said to them, it is one of the 12 who was dipping with me in the dish. And the Son of Adam is indeed going, as it has been written of him. But woe to that man by whom the Son of Adam is delivered up. It would have been good for that man if he had not been born. And as they were eating, Yeshua took bread, having blessed it, broke it, gave it to them, and said, take, eat, this is my body. And having taken a cup, giving thanks, he gave it to them, and they all drank from it. And he said to them, this is my blood, that of the renewed covenant which is shed for many. Truly I say to you, it's a renewed covenant, not a new covenant, renewed. Gotta look in Jeremiah for that. Which is shed for many. Truly I say to you, I shall certainly no more drink of the fruit of the vine till that day when I drink it anew in the reign of Elohim. And having sung a song, they went out to the Mount of Olives. And Yeshua said to them, all of you shall stumble in me this night, for it has been written, I shall strike the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered. Ezekiel 13:7. But after I am raised, I shall go before you into Galilee. And Kepha, Simon Peter, said to him, Even if all shall slumber, yet not I. Yeshua said to him, Truly I say to you, that today, this night, before the cock shall crow twice, you shall deny me 3 times. But he spoke more strongly, If I have to die with you, I shall not deny you. And they all said the same. And they came to a place called Gethsemane. And he said to his taught ones, Sit here while I pray. And he took with him Kepha, Simon Peter, and Jacob, and John, and began to be greatly amazed, and to be deeply distressed. And he said to them, My being is exceedingly grieved, even to death. Stay here and watch. And he was on a little, and fell on the ground, and praying that if it were possible, the hour might pass for him. And he said, Abba, Father, all is possible for you. Make this cup pass from me, yet not what I desire, but what you desire. And he came and found them sleeping, and said to Peter, Simon, are you sleeping? You were not able to watch 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter into the trial. The spirit indeed is eager, but the flesh is weak. And again he went away and prayed and spoke the same words. And having returned, he found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And they did not know what to answer him. And he came the 3rd time and said to them, Are you still sleeping and resting? Is it enough? The hour has come. See, the Son of Adam is being delivered up into the hands of sinners. Rise up, let us go. See, he who is delivering me up has drawn near. And immediately, while he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, with a large crowd with swords and clubs, came from the chief priests and scribes and the elders. And the one who was delivering him up had given them a signal, saying, Whomever I kiss, it is he. Seize him and lead him away safely. And going straight up to him, he said to him, Rabbi, Rabbi, and he kissed him. And they laid their hands on him and seized him. And one of those standing by drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. And Yeshua answering said to them, Have you come out against a robber with swords and clubs to take me? Daily I was with you in a set-apart place teaching, and you did not seize me. But let the scriptures be filled. And they all left him and fled. And a certain young man was following him, having a linen cloth thrown around his naked body. And when they seized him, he left the linen cloth and fled from them naked. And they led Yeshua away to the high priest. And all the chief priests and the elders and the scribes came together to him. And Kepha, Simon Peter, followed him at a distance, even into the courtyard of the high priest. And he was sitting with the officers and warming himself by the fire. And the chief priests and all the councils were seeking witness against Yeshua, to put him to death, and they were finding none. For many bore false witness against him, but their evidence did not agree. And some rose up and bore false witness against him, saying, We heard him saying, I shall destroy this dwelling place that is made with hands, and within 3 days I shall build another made without hands. And not even when did their witnesses agree. Then the high priest stood up in the center and asking Yeshua, saying, Have you no answer to make? What do these witnesses against you? But he remained silent and gave no answer. Again the high priest asked him, saying to him, Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed? And Yeshua said, I am, and you shall see the Son of Adam sitting at the right hand of power. Psalms 110:1. And coming with the cloud on the heaven. Dan 7:13. And tearing his garments with the high priest said, What further need do we have of witness? You have heard the blasphemy. What do you think? And they all condemned him to be liable to death. And some began to spit on him, and to blindfold him, and beat him, and say to him, Prophesy. And the officers struck him with the palms of their hands. And Peter was below in the courtyard. One of the servants' girls of the high priest came, and seeing Peter warming himself, she looked at him and said, And you were with Yeshua of Nazareth. But he denied it, saying, I did not know nor understand what you are saying. And he went out onto the porch, and a cock crowed. And the servant girl saw him again, and began to say those words who stood by, This is one of them. And again he was denying it. And after a little while, who stood by again said to Simon Peter, Truly you are one of them, for you are a Galilean too, and your speech is alike. And he began to curse and swear, I do not know this man of whom you speak. Man is capitalized. And the second time the cock crowed, and Peter remembered the word that Yeshua said to him, Before the cock crows twice, you shall deny me 3 times. And thinking on it, he wept. Thank you for following along with this. Whenever no matter what part, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, whenever it gets to this part, really hurts. Thank you for listening. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible and talk to the Father.